You know, I'm gonna have to make this one quick. I gotta make a beeline to the arena. We're doing some scrimmaging later today at 7, and it's 6:35, right as the Canucks and Pittsburgh game ended, so I kinda have to make this quick. But this is one of those games where I feel like it would be more than fair to say, wow, man, Dustin Tokarski really went out there and stole the game for Pittsburgh after Casey DeSmith let in 3 goals in the first however many minutes of the game that it was. But at the end of the day, the Canucks played so gosh darn poorly that on a night where Spencer Martin lets in 5 goals, he arguably was the best player on the ice. Shorty and Cheech were talking about it. This could have been a 10-digit goal game for the Penguins because they were so potent in the Canucks zone in terms of their control, their shots, their opportunities, their passing. The Canucks were puck watching on most of the goals scored against them. They did not do a proper job in taking checks and getting guys away from their goalie. Spencer Martin was way better than a 5-4 loss would indicate, and the Canucks end up doing what has never been done before in Vancouver Canucks history, blowing a 3-goal lead in the first period. It's 3-0 Vancouver, then it's 3-3 at the end of the first. It becomes 5-3 to end the second, and the Canucks get the final goal in the third before really making things interesting towards the end with multiple saves on the empty net. You had Brock Besser coming in there and swiping it away. Jan Ruda forced a puck into the corner even though he had the empty net to shoot at, but the Canucks could not get it done. Ultimately, though, I feel like this is just one of those games where if you're talking about the tank, you're talking about the quality of gameplay that we see out here on the ice. This might have been one of the worst games the Canucks have played from an on-ice defensive standpoint. Sure, they got 4 goals. That's not bad. It's just, we'd said it the entire year that the way the Canucks are squeaking out wins, how they're forcing it to OT and winning there, or how they let their goalie hang out to dry before coming back with some momentum towards the end of the game, that's not a sustainable way to win. It's not, straight up. Like, this team is not playing games and controlling games like good teams are capable of doing. Like teams that Francesco Aquilini thinks the Canucks could be like. They're just not. Jim Rutherford was giving an interview the other day talking about how it's been so hard to move money, free up money. He's been trying it. They've been doing the thing, doing their due diligence, but it's been more difficult than they thought it would be. And now I feel like with the Canucks and this season, the way it's gone, I mean, they're now 17, 20, and 3, still below 500 once again. Go figure. I mean, it's tough to go out there and foresee some sort of a turnaround. Because even though I've said it a ton that this team does have the talent to be able to do things, you know, hockey's a game of bounces. Elias Pettersson had 2 shorthanded breakaways, had 2 of them gone in on Dustin Tokarski. This is a different hockey game. The Canucks have the lead. The Canucks don't end up losing 5-4. Maybe they get a 5-5, who really knows. Pettersson also had another chance in front on Tokarski later on, and I believe it was the third or something like that, where there was a puck scramble out in front and he just couldn't bury it. Petey is good, and we know that he's been good, but he's like the only one that's capable of doing things like that. Connor Garland had an end-to-end rush goal today to start things off 1-0. That's probably the best goal he's scored as a Canuck. And the thing is, I don't know if we're going to see him be able to do that anytime soon again, because that sort of thing is so uncommon to see from Connor Garland. He normally plays it into the corner or dumps it out and goes off on a change. He's never done that before. The other goals that were scored by Vancouver, the Brock Besser bounce out in front where he backhanded it off a rebound. Okay, that's a good bounce for Vancouver. Quinn Hughes takes a long shot onto Smith. It goes off the pad and in. Okay, that's a great bounce off of the goaltender. So Canucks have a 3-0 lead. Then the goal to make things 5-4 at the very end. It's Travis Dermott who takes a shot off a ricochet that actually gets stopped by Tokarski, but Tokarski stops it with his hand over the goal line. So it's a goal. But despite that, even though the Canucks scored 4 here today, you just watch the goals that Pittsburgh scored and you see why they were able to get them to go. Even if you don't watch the highlights where no goals were scored, Pittsburgh is cycling the puck like crazy. They're really working the Canucks in their own zone. The Canucks are scrambled. They're puck watching. They're not taking any guys. It's Malkin with a one-timer that gets stopped by Martin, but it still trickles in. The Crosby goal was one where the Canucks got scrambled like crazy. Nobody took Crosby out in front, which is why he was able to receive the point-blank tap-in deflection shot opportunity. And then you have yourselves the other goal scored. Who in the heck scored that 3-3 tying goal in the first off the face-off where the guy took it off the wing and walked right in? I believe it was Jason Zucker. The Canucks completely scramble. Like, there was a breakdown on Cody Severson's Twitter, I believe, showcasing the Canucks and how they moved around in their own zone for the split second after they lost the face-off. And Zucker ends up getting a clear lane. Both of the guys on the Canucks forwards miss their assignments. OEL ducks out of the way of the shot. Like, what? And then you have yourselves the second period where things get even worse for Vancouver because Ilya Mikheyev gives it up at the Canucks blue line, leading to a 2-on-1. Malkin to Zucker back to Malkin. It's 4-3. And then Rickard Rakell in the power play. The Penguins let a shot rip from the blue line. The rebound is right there in front of Rakell. Martin lost it. All the Canucks lost it. Rakell just has an open net to bang the puck into. And it doesn't look good. It really doesn't. Like, the rest of the game after that 5-3 goal, and then for most of the third period, it was all Pittsburgh. They were just doing more. Crosby, Malkin, Zucker, like, they looked amazing. Crosby was such a beast. One hands on the puck, controlling it, getting around Canucks guys. Evgeny Malkin doing the things that he's been able to do. He had 4 points on the night. Crosby also scored a goal, so what is that number that popped up at the end of the game? Like 89% the Penguins win their games when both Crosby and Malkin score? Like, the Penguins, man. How was this team so bad on the power play heading into this game? Oh, that's right, because they weren't playing Vancouver all those games. And the Canucks got some crazy good saves out of Martin in the process. He definitely wasn't the problem here. It's just, this game could have been so much worse. And now you realize that this is sort of the sameness that was talked about in the intermission. Ian McIntyre brought it up, the blah 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 thing. The Canucks are being compared to the literal Vancouver Grizzlies now. That's how bad it is. Like, this team is not good enough to win games consistently and make the playoffs and do whatever. They needed to trade out money ages ago. They needed to get out of cap hell ages ago. But what do? They re-sign Miller. They sign Ilya Mikheyev. They do all these moves that make their salary situation worse. And what's the only move they've done to free up salary? The whole time they've been here. This new regime. Dickinson away, plus a second-round pick for Riley Stillman? Like, it hasn't been good. Has not been good. And I think this sort of game kind of encapsulates the energy that a lot of Canucks fans are feeling, because for a brief moment where they had the 3-0 lead, where it gave a lot of Canucks fans hope that they might be able to stat pad a bit more, they end up completely blowing it, and the rest of the game afterwards is all Pittsburgh, and it's kind of numbing to watch the Canucks give up as many chances as they had. They had power plays that didn't look good. They had penalty kills that looked even worse, and 5-4 is the end result because of it. I gotta go to hockey. It's already too late. I can't be talking about the Canucks still. I'll just use the Connor Bedard Pittsburgh Canucks thumbnail on this one, so I apologize if any of the things that we talk about here is not up to what you find entertaining or valuable. But yeah, I kind of gotta rush this one because I gotta go see the fellas and scrimmage around, maybe score some goals of my own to make me feel a little bit better about hockey on this day. But talk to the comments, your thoughts about the Canucks and the Penguins. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.